got these post-resurrection revelations of Jesus, and here he reveals himself to his disciples in a way much similar to how he showed his divinity to them early on when he called them. First, when he called his apostles, and they were out fishing all night, and they came back and they caught nothing, and Jesus said, "Cast your nets over the other side of the boat," and they hauled in this huge catch of fish. And so here Jesus is appearing to them after his resurrection, and it's curious. The disciples, they've gone back to their old life, right? Jesus died 3 days, and well, let's just go back to being fishermen, right? He died, so the end. It was a great 3 years, but he's gone. So they decide they're just going to go back to their old life of fishing, and then Jesus appears to them on the seashore, and he sees they've caught nothing, and he says, "All right, cast your nets over the other side." Hint, hint, remember what I did. And they catch this great catch of fish. And Peter, though, right? Peter, who has, been given the keys to the kingdom. He has been entrusted by Jesus. He has been the one that Jesus asked, "Do you love me?" He's denied Jesus. Peter is just there in his boat, like, here we go. And John, right, the disciple who Jesus loved. John turns to Peter and he's like, "Hey, dummy, you remember this?" Remember what? It's Jesus. Oh, okay. And so he tucks his garments in and he jumps into the sea and he, runs up. It's a curious little fact, right? Peter, the one to whom Christ entrusted his church, he needs somebody else to tell him, like, "Hey, the big guy's here." And so we see through that kind of intercession of John that he's showing Peter the way to Christ, which gives us a lot of hope, right? Because Peter, he kept getting it wrong. He wanted to do it right, and he just kept getting it wrong. Jesus said, "That's all right, Peter. Do you love me?" "Yeah, I think so." "Great. Feed my sheep." And so we recognize in our own lives the ways that we fail and the ways that we struggle and the ways that we, just are completely oblivious to the presence of the Lord. He still comes to us and shows us and sends us John to say, "Hey, that's Jesus over there." "Oh, okay." And then again, as they come to the seashore and they recognize Jesus, just as we heard in yesterday's gospel, Jesus reveals his humanity. "I'm hungry. Bring some of that fish over. We're going to cook it. We're going to eat." Eating together, it's such a, it's essential. It's what we do as human beings. Come have dinner. Let's break bread together. And so Jesus calls his apostles and he says, let's come together, let's eat. And then from there, it's a reminder that Jesus has called together his church. He's nourished his church, and he's sent them out to proclaim his gospel. There's hope, right? There's hope in the resurrection. It's not hope like that Falcons logo you got on your... There's no hope for the Falcons. We got the Braves, that's good, so... but there's hope in the church. There's hope in the resurrection. Can we align ourselves with that hope? Can we align ourselves with that hope that Jesus has given us? It's really easy to look to the world and look to politics and look to the whole, all around, everywhere. It's like, gosh, just the world's so broken. Yeah, it is, but Jesus gives us hope. Jesus gives us hope. And so as we come to the end of this Easter octave and we get ready to celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday, whereby we recall God's love for us, that he desires to forgive us of our sins, let us continue to marvel at the resurrection. right? Marvel at the resurrection. I mentioned on Easter Sunday the idea of this awe and wonder of the resurrection. Changed everything. It changed everything. It gave us new hope. It gave us new life. And so let us ask the Lord that he would continue to open our hearts, just as he opened Peter's stubborn, hardened heart, so that we may better recognize him, we may better see him, we may better love him.